Hey guys, it's Jordan here with Gnar Snowboarding, and I'm going to go over a rocker today.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Braxton, aka Book Nasty, aka Brax_Beezy with Gnar Snowboarding. Today I'm going to be going over Camber. Alright y'all, so we're going to hop straight into Camber first. We're going to go over 7 qualities that all Camber boards share. So first and foremost, they have 4 contact patches. And so what that means is at your nose and your tail of your board, right? And so you have 2 contact patches in the front and 2 contact patches in the rear. So what this does is this gives you better control and grip in the board. It makes it a lot more maneuverable. Alright, so Camber boards, right? And so they're shaped like a lowercase m. So just imagine a rainbow, right? And so, you know, like how a rainbow has that arch? And so that's how a Camber board is. So this is good and for you guys that like to hit the park and all that good stuff and do those nasty jumps, you know what I'm saying? Those guys like to break their legs and shit like that, you know? So pretty much, right? And so what that Camber allows is, that Camber allows you to get more pop. So like when you go to jump, right? In the middle of your board will go down and it'll flex back up and that creates that pop. So, and that's why these Camber boards are really good for the park, things like that. So, and speaking of jumps, right? And so when you go to hit a jump, right, and you're riding a Camber board, and when you go for the landing, and it's actually a lot more stable. And so you have those 2 contact points on the ground and when you're landing, so it makes for a lot more stable landing. So if you want to be hitting the park and things like that, you know, a Camber board or a hybrid board is something that you're definitely going to look into. So, and for you guys that like to carve, Camber boards are excellent at that. Because you have that front and that rear contact patch, you have a lot more control of the board and it makes it a lot more maneuverable as you're transitioning back and forth while you're carving. So pretty much, if we go along the edge of the board, right? So instead of just having the middle part of the edge touching in a rocker, and you have 2 bigger contact points at each end of the board in the Camber board setup. So that allows you to carve a lot harder, a lot faster, and maintain your speed and have better agility. But with all pros, there comes cons. So one of the big cons with Camber boards is you catch the edge a lot more. So pretty much what catching the edge is when your edge digs into the snow and your front edge, and then it sends you flying in the air. So think of high siding a motorcycle, but on a snowboard. Yeah, so that's catching the edge, which is no bueno. Also, if you're just getting into snowboarding, a Camber board might not be the best thing for you just because they are a bit trickier to ride, and just because you'll be trying to learn how to carve, how to turn, how to stop, it might be a bit more difficult to learn on a Camber board. But if you're up for a challenge, then why not? All right, y'all, so those were the basic characteristics of a Camber board. So now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Jordan, aka J Nasty, and he's gonna go over rockers with y'all. I'm out.
All right guys, so it's Jordan here. I'm going to go over the rocker board, which is basically a reverse camber. So when you're looking for a board, it may say rocker, it may say reverse camber. There's also hybrids that'll say that. It is a U-shaped board, so it's going to look like this. Just like that, what I went over in the last review of T-Swizzle's snowboard. It's that same shape. So what this means, since it's shaped up like that, instead of the way the Camber is like this, where you got the 4 contact points, now the contact points are raised, right? So that means that you're less likely to catch an edge, right? And you are riding flat board, those edges, those contact points are up. So that way, when you say you want to butter, it's less likely to catch an edge because they're raised up, they're not touching that. So for you guys that like to do butters, or for you guys that like jibbing, this is probably gonna be the board for you. It's a lot easier to press because you're already in that press state from the board being like a U, so it's gonna make it easier to do presses, to do nose and tail presses, and to butter, because you don't have to worry about catching an edge on your contact points. Bad news is you don't have as much pop because you can't load up the pressure on the board from the Camber like Brax Beezys was saying, you can't load it up, so it's going to be less poppy, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it's what you guys want. Also, if you want to use this board for jumps, you can use it, but just remember, since those contact points are up, when you go to land, you're not going to be landing on those contact points like the Camber board, so that you have more of a chance of slipping out, which can be kind of fatal and stuff. Rocker boards are going to be better for powder, because so either way you ride switch or you ride regular in the powder, your nose is going to be tilted up more, or your tail is going to be tilted up more, so that way you're set more back in the powder, keeping your nose out of the powder so it doesn't go in and you tomahawk. So it's got to be a lot. You're going to see a lot of powder boards that have a flat camber and then rocker in the nose. That's usually what powder boards have, and some all mountain boards have those too. So the rocker board is going to be better for the beginners because it's a lot more playful, a lot easier to learn on. It's less, you're not going to catch an edge, so you won't have to worry about that. It's going to be fun because you can do presses and stuff like that. I never rid one, but I've seen a lot of videos, and I mean, it's your preference. If you want a camber, if you want to go fast, or if you want to be playful and get a rocker board, it's up to you. So that was the rocker board. I'm Jordan.
I'm Braxton, and we're with Gnar Snowboarding.
We out.